So a learning target in studying polynomial functions is the degree and lead coefficient of a function. Degree is fancy word for what exponent, how many x's are going to get multiplied. Lead coefficient is the number, the integer attached to that lead degree. So first off, understanding the leading degree. Here in graph A, we're coming from negative. So if we were asked, hey, x goes to negative infinity, as x decreases, what happens to y? It decreases as well. It starts at negative. Then it goes up. After it goes up for a while, it goes down. It goes down to there. It hits what's called, that was a maximum, relative maximum. It hits a relative minimum. It goes back up. It ends up going up. So this is telling us two things. Number one, I see three colors on there because there's three different patterns there. It goes up, goes down, goes back up. So the degree equals 3. The lead coefficient, since it ends positive, the lead coefficient is positive. If you don't believe me, you go to decimals real quick. You pick some number, any number. Here on decimals, I happen to be picking positive 4. Hey, that graph has this same overall look. It doesn't squiggle as much, but it goes from negatives up, flat lines a little bit, continues up, finishes up. Lead coefficient is positive. The degree is 3. If it was negative, everyone see the purple? From left to right, it goes negative. So now let's find which other one has 3 wiggles to it. The answer would be C. C, as x approaches negative infinity, the y goes up. So if I read left to right, like I do when I read words, there it's dropping. The y's are dropping. The graph of the y's are dropping. Now, as x continues to increase, the y's go up for a bit. They finish going down to negative infinity. So as the x increases, the y goes to negative infinity. The degree there, again, keep this in color, the degree is still 3 because there's blue, green, red. There's 3 different wiggles in the graph, 3 different areas where it decreases, increases, decreases. The lead coefficient now would be negative because it finishes at negative. Okay. So now, what about graph B? Comes in from the positives. It's a relative maximum. The relative maximum, it increases. From that relative minimum, that was a relative minimum down there. That relative maximum, it decreases. And then it increases one more time. Note, I just said it increases one more time. It goes off to positive infinity. Also does that on the other side. But it's this side that really matters. That's the commonality. So the degree happens to be 4. The lead coefficient is positive because we're going off to positive infinity from left to right. Graph D is increasing. It's a relative maximum. Decreases, it's a relative minimum. Increases, it's a relative maximum. Decreases again. Notice decreases again. It's headed off to negative infinity. The degree there is 4 because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 wiggles. The lead coefficient, as we read left to right, it is negative. Confirmation of the previous 2 graphs. You go to decimals, you put something in like, hey, 2x fourth. Now, this would be more of a W shape if we had all the factors, something like x plus 2 times x minus 2 times x plus 1 times x minus 1. You would see a total of 4 true wiggles. Notice that compared to x squared, it has the overall same look. Evens end up going off to the same direction. Odds do not. Positive coefficient goes to positive. Degree 4, it heads in both same places. Any even degree, it's going to end up both places. Negative, it's going to go to negative on both sides. Most importantly, on the right, even, it's going both places. If it was ever odd, something like 5 by chance, it's split like that, where one side heads off to negative infinity on the y's, the other one heads off to positive infinity. Is it even? Another even. There's another even. So as long as the exponent, which is fancy, degrees fancy word for exponent, is even, excuse me, it's going to end up going in both directions. The negative says goes to negative, whereas the positive says go off to positive. Please use what you just learned to try and get up to 20% back on the test grade.